Hi guys, this is video number 2 of the post-run cool-down yoga for runners. This time we're going to be working on the pelvic orientation. So many of us stand like this, and sometimes if you're a runner and you run a lot, you can create lower back pain. Sometimes you have some tension after your practice. Sometimes you have a couple days later a little bit of pain. So we're really going to be working on that today, but this practice also really helps with knees. Some of us stand with our feet apart, which if you run with your feet apart, of course you're going to get a little bit more pressure here, probably on the inside of the knee. Some people will have issues with their meniscus. So we do try with all the stretching that we're going to be doing to keep the feet straight. So we're going to go to the floor and do a few stretches. Try to stay at least 1 minute in all of these poses. I have my handy stopwatch right here. I used to use this to try to keep time because you don't really know how long is a minute at first. After a while of doing this practice, you'll know how long a minute is and how long you need to stay, and then you won't need to use your stopwatch anymore. But do try to stay 1 to 3 minutes at least in every single one of these stretches. Okay, so we're going to start with a quadricep stretch. So I usually do the right leg first. You take the left leg back. Again, watch that your back foot is not falling to the side or it's not falling to the outside. You really want to try to keep the leg straight. You have 4 muscles that make up the quadriceps, so we're going to be doing a few different movements here. So the first one is just hands to the floor. If that's not possible for you, at gyms, I've noticed that lately, if you run at the gym, there will be some blocks. So then you can maybe grab some blocks, put them under your hands. Also, kettlebells work really great. If you can get 2 kettlebells the same size, put those underneath your hands and use those instead of the bricks. So we're going to stay here for at least a minute. And what you want to try to do is really press your hips forward, and so that you can really feel a deep stretch in the quadricep. If it really bothers you to do this, it's possible that you already tore it a little bit, and then do not go too far. You do still need to stretch, but not pushing yourself really to the point of feeling pain. So I'm starting my timer right here. If you're not doing this with me, you can just fast forward right to the next pose. A minute can feel like a long time if you're not used to stretching. So again, you can choose if you want to have your hands up. Sometimes I start with my hands up and then we put the hands down. You can lower down the bricks. You can change it. Sometimes if you're feeling a little tired, you can even rest your head close to your knee. And of course, this is yoga, so we do want to focus on the breath. You want to try to take nice, big, deep breaths into your belly, and that's going to help the muscles to relax. And do watch what you do with your back foot. I also tend to turn it out, but try not to turn out your back foot. Just 15 more seconds. Okay, we can come out. So here, I find that for a lot of people, this is a very difficult stretch to do. So when you're here, you're going to walk back. This is a stretch for the hamstring, which is super important to stretch, especially, like I said, if you're having problems with your pelvic orientation, or you're having lower back compression, you really want to do this one and on a regular basis. So here, you might have to take a little step forward and kick your foot up. Again, check that your foot is not turning out, because when your foot turns out, you actually cheat yourself. You're not really getting the stretch really where it needs to go, which is the back of the calf and the hamstring itself. So keep your toe turned up and flexed. Again, if you have blocks or kettlebells, that would be great to use underneath your hands. Another thing you can try to do here is maybe if you feel like you just cannot get that low, come up onto your fingertips, and some people are even able to kind of balance on the knee. But I do recommend, if you can, rest a bit because it's a long stretch. You want to pull your hips slightly back, so you're going to feel that connection. Some people are the tightest in their calf muscles, especially if you're a runner or you're a biker. You might have tighter calves than you even do hamstrings, so you might feel it a lot more in the hamstring, in the calf than you do in your hamstring. And we just want to take a couple of deep breaths. And make sure you've stayed for at least a minute. Great, and then we're gonna change it. So we're gonna come back to the lunge pose. So you might just take your foot back, coming back into the lunge. Now we're gonna walk with your bricks, your kettlebells, whatever it is you're using, to the inside of your body, and you're gonna let your knee and leg fall a little out to the side. Here you're gonna feel a little bit more stretch, potentially in the inner thigh muscle. If it's possible to, you can come down to the floor, and a lot of people are able to come down lower. So here you can even let your foot pick up a little bit and then see the bottom of your sole. It's usually possible to go a little lower here. And again, you want to stay a while. If you've had an injury to the inner thigh muscle or to the groin, you might consider not staying too long in this pose, although you do want to anyway stretch out those muscles. You just don't want to further injure the ligament itself. Taking a couple of deep breaths, trying to relax the shoulders. And here, of course, I can see I'm letting my left hip drop back down again. And then come back up to center. We do the other side. So we're going to walk now over to the other side. If you've got bricks or kettlebells, bring that over to the side here. And here you want to lean a little bit over and twist. So this ends up being a little bit of a twist. I'm facing the wrong way, so it might be hard for you to see what I'm doing. First taking a little twist, and then start to stretch your leg. You might get your leg straight, or you might not get your leg straight. And a lot of people have problems when it comes to lifting up the toe and flexing the foot in this one, but you're gonna really try to do that. So here what we're stretching is called the ACL, and ACL tears are a little bit more common when you're a sporter, like football, you play soccer, you play other kinds of sports like tennis. You might have more tendency to pull these muscles than if you're a runner, but still it can happen with runners. You can even choose here to take the foot out to the side and point the toe to the side. You want to focus on dropping your hip down, almost like you're squeezing a paper between your inner thighs. Shoulders are back. Again, trying not to overuse your neck muscles, your shoulder muscles. Okay, and then walking back. So at this point, I would change legs. We do everything on the other side. I'm just going to quickly go through that. We're not going to do it. If you want to pause the video and do it, you're more than welcome to. So the first pose is here. The quadricep. The second is here. The hamstring. Remember to turn the toes up. The third one is walking back again forward. And this is a yin pose. Opening up the knee a little bit to the side. You can still be on some blocks, but then again, a lot of people have an easier time here coming down to the floor. And the third one is starting out like this, walking your hands to the side, and then slowly starting to straighten up the knee. Some people are able to walk pretty far out to the side. Some people are able to drop the toes. Not everybody. It's really going to depend on how tight you are in that ACL. Great. So that is the second side. Then we're going to come all the way down to sitting. Last few stretches for the hamstrings. You want to just take one foot in, place one foot on the inner thigh, and reaching for your foot. This might look really simple, and it is really simple, but I do see a lot of people at the gym or maybe even in the park stretching with their toe turned out. So try to keep the orientation of your toes straight up, because we do want to stretch the entire back line. And you just reach as far as you can and continue to breathe deeply. I know the tendency here when you're at the gym or you're out at the park is to start looking at your phone again, but really it really does help you to kind of calm down, to really enjoy the endorphins that you got from your post-run. If you just leave your phone alone and just breathe, maybe close your eyes, kind of like a small meditation moment. Just really keeping that foot flexed, even the outer corner flexed. And then pull one last time, and we'll just change the side. Again, I'm not staying super long. You can stay up to 3 minutes. If your knee does bother you here, by the way, and you have something, you can put that underneath your knee. And don't worry if you're not able to reach this far. I know a lot of people who are not able to reach this far. There's nothing wrong with you. You can always bend your knee a little bit and then reach for it. You just want to be feeling a stretch in the entire back part of your leg. So you do want to be feeling it from the calf all the way up to where the hamstring joins up, which is right on your hip bone, your sits bone. Great, okay. Last one and most important one I find is pigeon pose. Pigeon pose really helps to loosen up the hips. When we're running a lot, the hips get super tight, and that can definitely cause problems on down the road. Particularly, you can think about problems with the ACL and the knee. So bringing the right knee forward first. Slide the right knee forward. You can point or even flex a little bit your back foot, and then start to sit back. Some people will have to just stop here. You'll already feel a little stretch, and you can hang out here if it's possible. Maybe bring your head down. If you don't feel any stretch in the outer hip, you maybe need to walk your foot a little bit more to the left side, and then try to sit a little bit deeper. And the deeper that you can sit, the more it should be feeling. You should feel something here. Some people feel something in the groin. That's if you have a tight groin, you might feel it in your groin. But don't worry, as long as it's not excruciatingly painful, it's safe. And in this pose, I usually end up staying 3 to 5 minutes. This is the biggest muscle group of the body, the glutes. They can really take a good stretch, and they really need a good stretch. So I'm just taking a couple moments, maybe a minute, but of course, if you're following this video, pause the video, stay at least 3 minutes. And of course, doing the other side. So coming back, bringing the left knee forward. Foot could stay right underneath your hip if that's something that already gives you a sensation in the outer hip, or you can start to work the foot out to the side and then sit a little bit deeper. And if you really want to relax, if you're really able to relax, you can come down to your elbows and rest your head. And as of course, this is yoga class, taking some nice deep breaths. Great, so coming on out. So thanks for watching part 2 of the cool down post-run workout for runners. Hope you enjoy and hope you stay to watch the 3rd part of the series.